Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spill the Pea. This week, we are taking a look at Toldot. This one is a bit shorter than the last few we've tackled, yet it holds a lot of power. So, the Torah first starts by letting us know that we'll be learning about the offspring of Isaac, who was the son of Abraham, and Abraham begot Isaac. Then we're told that Isaac was 40 when he married Rebekah. Isaac then prayed to Hashem because Rebekah was barren, and she conceived. While pregnant, she felt the children struggling within her, and she asks Hashem, Yo, what's going on in there? And Hashem was like, Two nations are in your womb. Two regimes from your insides will be separated. One regime will be stronger from the other. The elder will serve the younger. So when Rebecca completed her term, she had twins. The first one came out red and hairy, so naturally they named him Esau. Then his brother came out gripping his ankle, and so they named him Yaakov, or Jacob in English. And then we're told Isaac was 60 when Rebecca had them. The boys grew up, and Esau knew trapping and was a man of the field, and Yaakov was a wholesome man in the tents. Isaac loved Esau because trapping was in his mouth, and Rebekah loved Yaakov. So one day, Yaakov was inside making a stew, and Esau came in and was like, Pour into me your red stuffed because, whew, I'm pooped. Then we get a cliff note that he's now called Edom. And then Yaakov was like, So, will you sell me your birthright today? And Esau was like, I'm going to die anyway, so what do I need one of those for? And Yaakov was like, You swear? Because there's no take-backsies. So then Esau swore and sold Yaakov his birthright. Yaakov fed Esau, Esau ate and drank, and then we're told that Esau scorned his birthright. Then we're told that there's a famine, just like when Abraham was alive, and Isaac, just like his father, pays a visit to Avimelech in Gerar. Hashem appears to Isaac and was like, Do not descend to Mitzrayim, which is Egypt. Dwell in the land that I tell you, and I'll be with you and bless you and your offspring, and I'm going to establish the covenant that I made with Abraham. And all the nations of the earth will bless themselves from your offspring, all because Abraham was guided by my mitzvot, righteous deeds through divine direction, chukot, deeds of faith, which show your alignment with the divine will, and torot, spiritual laws that provide a foundational understanding. So Isaac settles in Gerar, and the men of the town start asking him about Rebecca. And he's like, Well, she's my sister, because, of course, he didn't want the men to kill him because she was beautiful. I guess they were sloppy one day because Avimelech saw Isaac and Rebecca frolicking together. So, of course, Avimelech confronts Isaac and was like, Dude, it's your wife. How could you call her your sister? And Isaac was like, Truly, I thought you were going to kill me and I didn't want to die. So Avimelech was like, Ma pitom, one of the guys almost got with your wife, and then we'd feel bad. So Avimelech told everyone to steer clear of Isaac and Rebekah, or they would die. Then we're told that Isaac sowed in the land, and he reaped 100-fold, and Hashem blessed him. And he kept becoming greater and greater. He acquired flocks and enterprises, and the people of the land began to envy him. Then it states, all of the wells that his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham were stopped up, filled with the earth. So Avimelech was like, Get out of here. Look how much better you are than we are. So Isaac left and went to the valleys of Gerar. But he would return to dig the wells of water that were dug during Abraham's time, and he gave them the names that Abraham gave them. Isaac's servants dug wells in the valley. And then the herdsmen of Gerar started to fight with them and wanted to claim the wells. This first well was esek, which translates to trade or occupation. So then Isaac's servants decided to dig another well. And of course, the herdsmen started a fight again and wanted to claim this well too. So this well was named Sitna, which means hostility or strife. So then they dug yet another well. Fortunately, this time they were left in peace, so they named this well Rehovot, which means wide spaces, because now Hashem gave the space to them and they'll be fruitful with it. So then Isaac goes up to Beersheba, and Hashem came to him and was like, I'm the God of your father Abraham. Don't be afraid. I got you. I'm going to bless you and increase your offspring because of Abraham, my servant. So Isaac built an altar, he pitched a tent, and he dug another well. So then Avimelech and his friends roll up on Isaac, and Isaac was like, why are you here? You kicked me out. What could you possibly want? And so they were like, listen, we know that you and Hashem are tight, so we figured that we should make a deal with you. We haven't done any wrong to you. We sent you away in peace. And come on, you're blessed by Hashem, so, you know. So Isaac made them a feast, gave them some drinks, and they went to sleep, woke up, and made a deal. And then they left in peace. Then Isaac's servants come and let him know about the well that they dug, and they named it Shiva. So now we have a short interruption letting us know that Esau is now 40 and he took a wife, Judith, who was a Hittite, and these two provoked the spirit of Isaac and Rebekah. We're making a quick U-turn back to Isaac. So Isaac now has aged, and we're told that his eyes were dimmed from seeing. He calls Esau and he's like, my son, and Esau's like, Hineni. And Isaac proceeds to say, I've aged and I don't know when I'm going to die, so prepare your tools, catch some game, make me some delicacies so that I'll eat and my soul will give you a blessing. Rebekah overheard this, told Yaakov the tea, and then told him to bring 2 young goats. She was going to make delicacies. Then he would bring them to Isaac to receive the blessing instead of Esau. And Yaakov was like, yeah, but he's hairy, so, and I'm not. So what if my dad touches me and figures out that I'm not Esau? And then he's going to curse me instead of blessing me. Rebekah was like, I'll take the curse. Just heed my words and do what I said. So Yaakov got the goats. Rebekah made the delicacies, dressed Yaakov in Esau's clothes, and put some goat skin on him to make him seem hairy. So Yaakov goes in the room and says, Abba, Father. And Isaac says, Hineni, who are you? So Yaakov is like, it's me, Esau, your firstborn. I brought you delicacies. Let's eat so your soul can bless me. Isaac was like, how did you do all of this so fast? And Yaakov was like, Hashem, duh. So Isaac was like, come closer. Let me touch you. Are you Esau or nah? So Yaakov got close and Isaac was like, you sound like Yaakov, but you feel like Esau. So Isaac touched his arm and was like, you are my son Esau. And Yaakov says, I am. So they ate and they drank, and Isaac was like, come closer and kiss me, my son. So Isaac smelled the scent of Esau. There was further confirmation, and then he proceeded to give the blessing. He said, may God give you the dew of the heavens and the fatness of the earth, and abundant grain and wine. People will serve you. Regimes will prostrate themselves. You will be a lord to your brothers, and your mother's sons will prostrate themselves. And may those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. So, of course, as soon as Isaac finished blessing Yaakov and he leaves, Esau walks in. So then Esau is like, yo, dad, let's eat so your soul can bless me. And Isaac was like, who are you? And Esau was like, it's me, Esau, your firstborn. And Isaac was like, whoopsie. So who was that other guy that just went through this whole shebang with me? And Esau was incredibly upset, and was begging for a blessing. And Isaac was like, he fooled me and he took your blessing. And then it hits Esau. Did this guy Yaakov really just best me twice? He got my birthright and now he got my blessing. And he asks his father again if there's an extra blessing. Poor guy. He's just out here being Johnny Bravo, and Yaakov had to come and ruin his whole day. So Isaac was like, I made him a lord over you and told him that all of his kin would serve him. What can I do? And Esau was like, you don't even have one? And he's like bawling at this point. So Isaac was like, the fatness of the earth will be your dwelling and the dew of the heavens above. You'll live by your sword, but you're going to serve your brother. When you're aggrieved, you can remove his yoke from your neck. So Esau was like revenge central and vowed to kill Yaakov after mourning Isaac. So Rebekah overhears somehow, summons Yaakov, and tell him what Esau's plan is. She tells Yaakov to heed her voice and to go to her brother Lavan and lay low for a while until Esau calms down, and then she'll send for him. So Rebekah says to Isaac that she's disgusted by the daughters of Heth, and that if Yaakov married them, she would sooner die. Isaac then beckons Yaakov and was like, listen, don't take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Go to your mother's father's house and take a wife from one of the daughters of Lavan, and El Shaddai will bless you and make you fruitful. So he sends Yaakov off. Esau witnessed all of this, and because Isaac considered Canaan evil, Esau went to Ishmael and took one of his daughters, Mahalath, as another wife. So this is the end of the story. First of all, I just want to point out the Purim energy that we get from this portion. Purim is absolutely my favorite holiday. And the energy of Purim is literally in everything. But you just have to be hineni enough to catch it all. Anyhow, let's go back to the beginning. So first, we're told that this will be the story of Isaac, who was the son of Abraham. And then immediately we're told that Abraham begot or was the cause of Isaac. What does it mean? Through divine connection, divine work, seeking the creator in how we choose to be, it results in the proper foundation of building a legacy. Isaac is 40 when he marries Rebekah. Again, 40 is a number associated with a proper foundation. It can be literal, but it doesn't have to be. So he prays to the creator, and then Rebekah receives. He was in the proper foundational state to have his prayers answered. So many times we walk around wondering, why doesn't God listen to me? God doesn't love me, pouting about whatever isn't happening. But are you truly aligned? Have you truly chosen humility and vulnerability over your ego? Or is everything circumstantial for you? Moving on. Literally, from the womb, these two babies were going at it. So what does it mean? Even in such a divine place as Rebekah, even as the offspring of Isaac who came from Abraham, we can still have internal discourse, cognitive dissonance. It's a part of the process. Okay, so she's having the babies and Esau is red. Red is the color of passion, fire, action, impulse. Yaakov came out gripping his ankle, so there's an understanding of red, but not an overtaking of it. And Rebekah and Isaac were 60, meaning they're prepared for the Shabbat of their lives. So as the boys grow, Esau was a man of the field, meaning he was more bound by earthly inclinations. Yaakov was a wholesome man, abiding in the tents. Wholesome meaning he found the balance in all. However, his foundation came from the tent. What does the tent represent? The tent is where the Shekhinah, the presence of the Creator, is felt. And it says Isaac loved Esau. So let's break this down for a moment. Avraham was chesed, kindness, overwhelming kindness. Because he was such a giver, he was blessed with a wife, Sarah, who had divine discernment. And so she created a balance for that giving, which is why they had Isaac, who represents gevurah, discipline, strength. So Isaac naturally gravitates towards Esau. Now, because Isaac is more disciplined strength, he needs some balance of his own, which is where we have Rebecca. And Rebecca, in her divine discernment, loves Yaakov. So then we're in the kitchen and we're discussing the matter of the birthright. Now, what is birthright even? Birthright is not only the inheritance you receive, but it's also a leadership position within the family and a spiritual legacy. Esau impulsively was like, whatever. Birthright, schmirthright. I don't care. Yaakov is making evident his level of understanding and discernment by even asking to purchase the birthright. So now we're back in Gerar with Avimelech, and we're doing the whole my wife is my sister thing again. And I would like to make one note. In some translations, it may be written that this is happening out of fear, and this is actually a mistranslation. The word that is used in these contexts in Hebrew is yirah. Yirah is not fear at all. There's a sense of reverence in yirah, and it's more closely related to the word awe. So, because he was in direct commune with the Creator, he had the awareness to have foresight to be able to experience awe and move forward with the divine plan. But of course, Isaac and Rebekah were caught because they just couldn't keep their hands off each other. And so the jig was up. And Avimelech wasn't the type to hold a grudge, seemingly. So Isaac stayed in the land and did his thing and started building wells everywhere. Now we might be like, why are they building all of these wells? What is with the well obsession? Water is representative of divinity, and a well is the everlasting flow of water. And then, because they're doing so well, they get kicked out. So they move to the valleys and they keep doing what they've been doing. They build another well, and the herdsmen get jelly. So they gave it up and they called it Esek, which is like your trade or your occupation. They build a second that's again taken by the herdsmen, and it's called Sitna, which is hostility. So then they move farther out and they build a third one, which is called Rehovot, which is space, empty spaces, because the Creator finally let them keep this one in the empty space. Now, this has a few layers of meaning. As we've discussed before, many things come in 3 layers. First, you have the thought, where you decide this is what I'm doing. Second, it can become difficult and you don't know if it's worth it to keep going or not. And maybe you even want to give up a little. Third, there's now a foundation, a space for the Creator to enter and to do his part. The empty space is the Ruach Elohim. When we create that space, we're giving the Creator the permission, so to speak, to come into our lives. So then Isaac takes his trip to Beersheba, and he comes back, and Avimelech and his friends are trying to make a deal. After they kicked him out, nonetheless. Why is this such a pivotal moment? Because anyone with an ego would have told them to shove it where the sun don't shine. But Isaac, son of Abraham, knew humility. In other words, he got over it. He moved on. He's an adult, and he ain't sensitive. When someone wrongs you, do you allow yourself to be held in a grudge by this person or people? Or do you hold yourself to the Creator and his promise? Now we're told that Esau is 40 and he takes a wife, Judith, who's a Hittite. Who cares? 40 is the number that generally symbolizes the foundation, right? So we're told he's in the stage of life where he should have a solid foundation. However, Big, however, here, he chose Judith, the Hittite, as a wife. Why does it matter that she's a Hittite? Because she's from a place that's close to Canaan. And Canaan is a place of questionable moral standards. So Esau, despite being the right age, has not developed an aligned foundation. Now Isaac is aging and he's losing his sight. So he calls to Esau, my son. And Esau says, Hineni. Now, I've expressed how much I love this word. And here is an example of the fact that the consciousness that you show up with is far more important than the showing up itself. Because he shows up completely and he doesn't even know for why or for what. Nothing. Impulse based, emotion based. He's also showing up to a lower recognition. My son. This isn't a term of reverence. So Isaac tells Esau that he wants to give him a blessing because basically he doesn't know when he's going to die and it could be at any time. So Rebecca overheard, told Yaakov the plan, and Yaakov is like, yeah, but I'm not hairy. What is this? Gevura, discipline, forethought, thinking things through. So then he has a powwow with Rebecca, discernment, and he gives chesed, having faith, following the divine alignment. Giving is not always this big, external, showy thing that you do. Giving can simply be putting your head down and giving faith as a part of the process. Giving faith to your creator is one of the biggest things that you can give. So they fix the food and then they prepare Yaakov. So when Yaakov approaches Isaac, he says, Abba, father. And Isaac says, Hineni. It's almost a similar situation as when Isaac said Abba to Abraham on the mountain and Abraham said Hineni. Both instances are a representation of being aligned and being ready for the next step, having awareness of your role and what's to come. So Isaac asks, who are you? And then they go back and forth. And this is another example of Isaac's gevura, discipline, thoughtfulness in action. I mean, we're all just like, can we go ahead and get to the blessing already? But patience is a virtue. So Yaakov finally gets his blessing, and then it's like, poor Esau. He just can't catch a break. Poor thing. He gets slighted again. And then he realizes what's really happening. He lost his birthright and he lost his blessing. But maybe the blessing was lost simply because of how casually he took his birthright. Many times we are bestowed gifts and opportunities, anything by Hashem, just because he wants to. And we take things for granted, as did Esau with his birthright, and then we expect to be given more responsibility. How does that work? You want the egg before you get the chicken, and you can't even take care of the chicken. So then Esau vowed to kill Yaakov. So again, Rebecca overhears. So I would like to take a moment and discuss her overhearing. Many people just assume that Rebecca is incredibly nosy, but is that what this is? The womb is the deepest place of connection with the divine. It's where light is created and it's where light is held. It also can be the feminine sonar system. The aligned feminine is so much more than we've often been given insight to. She receives insight, she pulls, she receives direct understanding, whispers from the creator. This reductive explanation of overhearing is nothing close to what Rebecca was, to what the feminine can be. Many call Rebecca a prophet, and many call Rebecca a mystic. She wasn't the first woman to hold this gift, and she surely was not the last. Rebecca then tells Isaac that she would sooner die than have Yaakov marry a daughter of Heth. So Isaac told Yaakov not to marry a daughter from the Canaanites, and he sent him to Rebecca's mother's home. As mentioned before, Esau overheard this, and out of spite, he chose Mahaleth as a wife. Toldot can seem a little all over the place at points, but one of the biggest themes throughout is alignment developed through foundation and discernment. In the beginning, like with Rebecca having this inner turmoil, right? Feeling like your insides are being crushed and you just don't know what to do. And the first thing that she did when she felt any discomfort was to call on the Creator. How many times are we in situations and we call a friend or your mom or whoever, and you think that they're going to be able to help you resolve the issue? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't rely on the people who are in our lives. What I'm saying is our first step is often a step from a place of Esau, where we're red, emotional, passionate, impulsive, and instead of taking a moment, giving space for our Creator to come in and do what He's been wanting to do forever, we close the door and we decide that our reaction to our emotion is the next best step. Now you have the awareness that you can either operate from Esau or Yaakov. Another big thing here, being a taker versus being a receiver. One is Esau and one is Yaakov. One comes from an impulsive place of lack, and the other comes from abundance. While you're complaining or pouting about whatever it is that you didn't get that you wanted, are you pointing the finger or are you looking in the mirror? Even when Esau had the realization that he had been got twice by his own brother, he didn't take responsibility for anything. He doubled down in his anger. Feel familiar? This is taking. Taking always comes from a place of lack because you always need someone to give you something so that you feel validated or secure or satisfied in life. Whereas Yaakov was always giving, balanced with discernment, but giving. And he was also always receiving. As we go into this next week, if you feel yourself going red, Esau started with two overflowing hands, and he had absolutely nothing by the end. Emotions and an ego are absolutely nothing compared to the quiet power of alignment. The world teaches us to clutch, grasp, prove, react. The Creator teaches us to breathe, wait, and listen. When you hold a moment with presence instead of panic, you step into Yaakov's inheritance. The blessing that was never about fur on your arms, but about the truth in your core. Your life will hand you wells of conflict, wells of strife, wells of wide open spaces. The difference between them isn't the world, it's who you choose to be when you arrive. You can show up from impulse or intention, from grabbing or receiving, from red heat or clarity. Each time you pause long enough to ask, where is the Creator in this? You turn a narrow space into rehovot, a wide space big enough for a blessing to enter. Choose the empty space. Choose the alignment. Choose the you that was blessed before you ever fought for it. See you next week.